Oh yes, we are live on New Year's Day. Let me double check that everything's doing what it's supposed to do. And it looks like it is. Oh, I love this day and being here with you on this beautiful, let me see outside here. Oh, sunny and about 80 degrees outside, ready to rock it here in sunny Florida. Wow, what a year, 2018, right? Holy moly. So for starters, if you haven't yet, and you know how this works if you've been with me before, we reward for participation. I got all kinds of gifts to give out today. Just starting a new year off in a really powerful way. So to participate, simply go in the YouTube chat, comment, would love to see it. What's one big lesson you learned in 2018? Would love to hear. I see Amy already posted. I posted something in there. Let me see if we can bring this up so I can watch the little live cast. I am so excited to be here with you. Here's what I know. 2018 had major ups. Had a couple things that threw me sideways. Had a couple things that were surprises. Had a couple things that were like, whoa, never saw that, never thought of that. New growth, new learnings, all these kind of things. Today's goal for you is simple. Living into my purpose statement. It's to help you from where you're at to where you want to be. And I'll always put a star by that B. Because here's what I know. So many of us do not dream big enough. So we're going to do a lot of work today in brainstorming. Just aspiration, ambition, things that we can really do, be, feel. One of the big concentrations of our work in high performance is this. It's to say, you know what, I kind of want, or I do want, depending on how you approach it, to be courageous about telling myself and those around me how I want to feel. So a year from now, as we do New Year's Day, Jumpstart 2020? Holy moly. We can sit back and go, you know what, I commanded or put in the world that I want to feel certain ways, and I went after it in 2019. Yeah, stuff happened, man, but you know what? Overall, I felt this. So if we rewind 1 year, would love to know, did you do that work last year at this time? I did, and I found this. I wanted to be more present, more joyful, and I wanted to step into really creating, building, and maintaining exceptional relationships. And I hope a lot of you know this. Big part of it this year, looking back over it. So grateful for being able to do that. So there's 3 big moves we're going to cover today. That's my promise to you. The first one starts with this, up here, this G, grateful. So in terms of 2018, in terms of everything up until this point in your life, would love for you to share something you're grateful for. What is it now? Even what going into 2019, something you're really grateful for. Whenever I write on the board, your job is to take notes. So if you have your notepad out, your computer out, your tablet out, whatever it is for you, make sure when you see me writing on this board, you're taking notes. So first and foremost, what are you grateful for? I'm gonna put that up there, and I'd love to know. If you can list 3, 5 things, whatever that is for you, what are you grateful for? As you've gone into 2019 this morning, and looking back, and grateful for what you have, who you are, who you're around, anything like that. What's showing up for you? I am incredibly grateful that you're here with me, that you and I get this time together to really set great ambition, intention, and really kind of dig in and think, what happened this last year? What is it that we can really go forward with or really own for next year? So I want to start out by this. When I did this work, because I have already done a lot of the work we're going to do today, I thought about 2 things that were surprises to me in line of simple things that brought more connection and joy with those I love, care for, and I'm around. And can I share with you what they are? And guess what? These are a couple of those treats, surprises that we're going to throw out. The first one is the simple game of Uno. The simple game of Uno. Here's what I found as I was going through the year, thinking about all the connection, the time we had, the fun we had, doing something where we just felt that fulfillment, being together. And it's this simple game of Uno, right? Here's what I also discovered. When we were in Switzerland back in July, my girls and I noticed on the train ride from Zurich to Zermatt that a whole group of kids were sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden they whipped out Uno and they started playing it. These Swiss children, probably 12 to 15, started playing Uno. Then as we were in, let's see, the cheese place, Gruyere, we're in downtown, the old village of Gruyere, where they make the cheese for the whole world, the Gruyere cheese from Gruyere. Family whips out a game of Uno. So I was thinking, I was telling my girls, I was like, you know what? It's incredibly cool to me that one little game with however many cards are in here, 52 maybe, can bring so much joy and connection. And I really want to start today's journey with you that way. In the arc of what we're going to do here today, what is it for you? The smallest little thing. Sometimes people are like, Uno, what? No, Uno. The card game Uno, right? I love the fact that it's just that simple. So I just want to make sure as we do this work together today, that it's as simple as a card game and connection. And that's one of the highlights for me for 2018. So I'd love for you to share what's one of the highlights for you. Something simple, something subtle, something that happened that was like, so wow, I really felt connection there. I really felt joy there with whoever you were around. Is it Uno? Is it something else? Is it just sitting around, having a coffee, chatting with somebody? Cool? I hope you love where this goes today. This is awesome. So that being said, let me lay the law down, or lay the way it's going to work today. I'm going to lay the law down because I'm a sheriff. Here we go. First and foremost, we reward for participation. So a lot of the people that are joining us today and a lot of people that will be watching the replay, please comment. Please participate. I got all kinds of gifts, and yes, one of them is the card game Uno. So if you're participating already, and I see a bunch of people already doing it, would love, love, love to hear. Would Uno bring you and your family, your friends, whatever that is for you, joy, if you don't have it already? If it is, I'm going to pick some people. I got a whole sheet of paper here with all my winners. I'm going to make sure to deliver these for you as soon as we're done with today's live cast and have some fun. So going back to the first big move, gratitude. I'm incredibly grateful that I was incredibly present because I set my intention to be that when we were on the train rides after 20 hours of travel in Switzerland. Like we literally traveled overnight. I don't sleep on airplanes. So I'm like, I know how that works. I have to command the energy. And I'm just still present, looking around. How are these kids here versus the US enjoying? What I did not see was a lot of them on any phones. What I did see was they were connected playing physical games. And I found that very inspiring. I was really grateful that I could see that and then see that again as we were going through Gruyere and just being able to be that present, not distracted. Big problem for me and so many of the people that I coach is we get caught in our head. Like we shut down and we're either in our phone or in our head instead of with the people we're with, right? So I'm really grateful for that. I'm also grateful that we've had a great year health-wise. I'm really grateful that we had an incredible year living into those beautiful 5 Ps that I live into, teach, and really champion you on to live into as well. To live purposefully, passionately, positively, productively, and profitably. Did incredibly well, cleared over $250,000 in Kajabi with this revenue stream around our mastery community. So blessed to be able to even share that with you. So much of our community is here with us today. Really enjoying that. And of course, as we look to 2019, what can we do to amplify that? What can we do to really go out? And this is a big start to that. So I'd love for you to share. What are you grateful for? The second big move is going to be the arc of our work today. And that is reflection. We reflect. The highest performers really spend time reflecting on how things have gone. And if they could replay those moments, maybe they didn't go the way they wanted. Maybe it didn't come out, what came out of their mouth wasn't what they wanted. You ever had that happen? I live into that. This year I did pretty good there. But you're like, whoa, can I just grab those words and put them back here? That did not mean for them to come out that way, right? So we replay those moments and we ask ourselves, hey, you know what? If I could redo that, what would be a better version of me? And that's the arc of today's conversation. So with that, let me go ahead and break down how we're going to work through this together. If you did not get the worksheet, I sent an email out for you to get that worksheet. If you did not get it, do not worry. It's very simple. It looks like this. I do want you to have it printed if you can do it. If you don't have the worksheet, don't worry. You take 4 pieces of paper, and on the first piece, we're going to start with this M, and I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. Then we're going to second sheet, you can have an L, and I'll fill that in with you in just a minute. Then on the third sheet, you can have an S. I like the green S. And on the fourth, you can have a red S. And by the time we're done today, in this beautiful journey I got set up for us, you're going to have a piece of paper that tells you, you know what, I want more of this. I want to start these things. And looking back over my life, over 2018, you know what, I really want less of that. And maybe I should stop some of those things. So if you haven't figured it out yet, we can go ahead and fill it in. So let's go ahead and do that together. That's the center part of our work today. What do we want more of? What do we want to start? And then when we flip that script, what do we want less of? What do we want to stop? Now the beautiful part of today's journey together is this. We're going to go through some really powerful frameworks that will really help us understand what that looks like and really help you kind of get some context, some illustration. I'm going to do my very best to help stories, help tell you, you know what, here's some things that maybe look out for if it's new for you, but it's a simple exercise. The way this training is built, we can replay this every quarter if you'd like. I'll have this in an online course for you to access whenever you want. You're so incredibly welcome because I want to make sure that on the 1st of April, the 1st of July, the 1st of October, maybe the 1st of next year, we'll do this event again. I'm planning on doing that for you. Is that we're real clear about, you know what, if I can reflect on the last 3 months, let's just say it's April 1st of this year, you know what, I really want more of this. And we'll give you context for what that can be, but I know I want less of that. I really want to start this. I need to stop that. You follow? It's the simplest form for people that are brand new to personal development, self-improvement, being the best version of themselves. This little sheet, and maybe it's 4 sheets for you if you do 1 each, can be that pivotal shift that helps you understand, you know what, typically I'm just kind of blowing through life. I don't really pay attention to much other than what I got to do and I get it done. Living that, what I like to call a zombie in the matrix. This can be that pivotal shift for you that says, you know what, if I'm really gonna step up my life in any way, I kind of don't want that stuff in my life, or I don't want that part of my personality to show, or I don't want those things. I do want these things. What a great way to set ambition for 2019. You excited about this? I can't thank you enough for being here. I also want to remind you this. We're all here for you. You'll see in this beautiful community we have, a lot of our community members are here. We support each other. We care for each other. We champion each other on. We love on each other. We care, and we even challenge each other, especially a lot of the coaches in our group. And it's really important that if you do not have a lot of that in your life or any of that in your life, you do now. You know that you do now. That's my job. Got real clear on that a few years back. My job is here to help you, to support you, to care for you, to champion you on, to help you, A, build dreams, to see what's possible, and then B, really go after them. And I've been really blessed to be able to do that work for myself and create major success in my life. Not just in the business realm, in the online realm, those things that I'm known for, but just in success with great relationships with those close to me and people that I just meet. And what a great gift to give yourself, no matter the context. You got this face, beautiful, joyous, ready to serve, ready to help. And it's not about me, man. It's about you. It's about your journey. It's about going after your dreams. You follow? And I hope you feel that as we reflect back on the last year. Challenge for you. Would love to know, how have you done there? If your desire is to help others improve their lives somehow, as you reflect back on 2018, how well have you done? And maybe what were some of the pinnacle pieces to that? My good friend Jason Evers, I think he might be on the call. He's like, dude, I'm going after it. And I see him just coming into his element in the last 8 weeks. To see Jason, if you're on the call, man, I love that. He just came in that one day. I know you remember. And you're like, dude, I am owning this. I am going after it. Came right here in the studio. We sat down and we were just like, okay, how are we going to go after it? What are we going to do? I'm going to serve. I'm going to step into it. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to go after. And he did. And he's seeing results from it. And I can't thank you enough, man, for sharing. a lot of your wisdom, a lot of your tidbits of advice, and those kind of things. If you follow Jason on YouTube, you'll see it. Jason Evers on YouTube, or jasonrevers.com. Congratulations, my man. Another AJ Ackerman, shouting out to AJ. He may or may not be on the call. I think they were out partying pretty late, but I know he's going to watch the replay. Just want to send tons of love to you. You recognized throughout 2018, you know what? I got to pivot here. I got to do some things that really amplify my ability to help the world with the talents, the life, school of hard knocks that I've had as I've gone through the world. Want to do another shout out to Angie Ferguson, the 27 Ironman champion. Like, she's coached Olympians. She's a triathlete. She's a triathlon coach. She's a world fitness master. She's been in global, world championships, 3 of them. She just started today her geared up January 2019 challenge, where she's challenging every day 4 to 10 minutes, just during work days, the weekends you get off, to rev your heart, get sweaty, build your core, do all these things. Just want to shout out, these are some of the beautiful people I've been blessed to help. And to see them go in the world and serve, and them take their. So for me, real clear, when I look at this sheet and I see more and less, I want more of that. I want more people taking that step, that hard step from intention, yeah, I'm going to go out and serve, to action. And that's the shift we see in the highest performers on this planet. They set great intentions, but when that self-talk comes up and they're like, oh, who am I to do this? They take the actions anyway. So in light of what I just shared, if you picture there's a dial of intention, and maybe it's a 10 out of 10. You got clear intentions, you got a clear vision, you know what you're going after. And then connected to it is a dial for action. 0 to 10. How much action have you been taking on those clear intentions? That's the part. This right here, this gap between intention and action, is everything towards really going after and serving. 2017 marked the moment that I jumped into Brendan Burchard's High Performance Mastermind. And I was like, dude, I've been sitting on a lot of intention for the last 5 years, following Brendan and being with all the people in that beautiful community. And I'm taking maybe 2 to 3, on a dial, 2 to 3 on action. And I got to jack that thing up. And look at what happened. Because I set intention and took action, we're here right now. We created a huge community that's going to scale in 2019 to serve even more in mass, while taking care of the beautiful people we have in it. I know some of you are in the community. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you. Support you, serve you, champion. Yeah, I even challenge you. That's the big shift. And I really want to make sure as we paint that picture, we've got very clear ideas here, and a couple of them kind of sum up for you. 1, what are the intentions you have for truly helping others? That's a high performance thing. Some people that are new to self-development are like, I could help others, but when you really get that in your core and say, you know what, if I really go out and serve others and help others, and then if you tie it to a profitable business, which if you have any problems with that, you let me know, comment. Say, I don't even know what that would look like, but I want to help people in this way. But how much action have you been taking on your intentions? What is that for you? Would love to hear. What's one thing that you need to take more action on? Starting today. As soon as we're done with our live cast, that you're going to go after and crush. Any ideas? Oh, it's good stuff, isn't it? So that all being said, you got your sheet or your 4 sheets. You're ready to go there. We've got grateful, reflection. So let's go ahead and start to fill this in. Before we do that, I'm going to grab one thing super quick and pop this on, make sure we're getting this good stuff going. And we got it? Excellent. So many of you know that I teach these 5 Ps. And so what I want to do is walk you through a visualization exercise, and I want you to fill in, based on what we talk through, where you would like to see more in your life, where you'd like to see less, what you'd like to start, what you'd like to stop. The more you share, the more winners we've got. You follow? I love this. I love this, doing this with you. So in line of the 5 Ps, the first P is purpose. For those of you in our mastery community, you know how this rolls. Love for you to look back on 2018 and tell us, rated 0 to 10, 0, not at all. 10, crushed 2018. How purposeful have you been feeling? How purposeful you were in 2018? Now, if you don't have a defined purpose statement, typically in the world of high performance, purpose means that I've helped others improve their life somehow, whether that's just the people around you, like your family, your friends, or I've helped others grow their business somehow, right? Especially solopreneurs, small business owners. These two things, as you'll see in the theme of this, there's a helping of others down their path in life. That's where the magic's at. You follow? So how purposeful have you felt in 2018? Go ahead and rate yourself. I'm going to give myself an 8.5 because I think there's improvement there. Now what I'd like you to do is to say, in line of being more purposeful for 2019, what do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? What do I need to start? What do I need to stop? You follow? So when I did this exercise 2 years ago, I said, what I got to do more of is spend more time in Kajabi. That's the tool that lets me go through and facilitate training, facilitate growth, facilitate customers, if you want to call it that. I always look at it like a family. I got to do less of whatever is not that. What I got to go and start is really creating some offers. I got to start creating offers and really going after relationships. What I got to stop is whatever else I'm doing that isn't around that, right? And so the way that showed up as a goal for me, that's where we're kind of taking this. You see how this kind of comes down to these 3 big goals? All this start and stop, more and less, was, okay, what's the goal for me by the end of 2017 or 2018? And it was to get to a certain level, as a lot of you in the community know, to really go after a 6-figure recurring revenue business. Crushed it. But I had to think about the behaviors, the mindsets, the things I needed to do more of, the things I needed to do less of, the things I need to start, the things I need to stop. So that may or may not be what's purposeful for you. But here's how that looks. To be more purposeful with the people you love. Maybe more of this. More uno. Really dedicating consistent time, digital devices aside, to being more connected with those we care for and we love. And they're just fun to be around. Maybe to be more purposeful, we've got to go through and create some new friendships. In high performance, we call that growth friends. Growth friends are friends who are like, hey, what you working on? Can I help you with anything? How's life going? What's your big dreams? As opposed to other types of friends who are more in the blame, excuse, denial, gossip, victimhood. Some people that I've coached in the last year have said, I never knew it existed. A world where people were in the growth mindset versus in that other kind of mindset. You know? I always say we're going after the ambition versus talking about the struggle too much. We've all got struggles, don't get me wrong, but it's like we're going after the ambition and really taking it to the next level with whoever we're with. I hope that I've done a good job demonstrating that for you and really helping you there to make sure you're taken care of, that no matter what dream you have, if you share it with me and you're serious about it, we'll work out a way. Then I'll guide you, coach you, whatever that would be, to make sure you're fulfilling on the baby steps to get there. You follow? So I hope you see how the lay of the land works today and how powerful this is. More or less, start, stop. So in line of purpose, anything there for you. And just kind of bullet points, right? If you need more paper, get more paper. But by the end, we'll have a ton brainstormed. And then you'll be able to whittle that down. And I'll tell you, we're going to highlight some things and do some exercise there to make sure we're clear on what it is the highest priority. And it may or may not happen for you in this session, meaning that you may need to sit with your lists and look it over for the rest of today or the rest of the week. But my challenge for you as you step into the last half of January is to really work through what you want to bring more of, what you want less of, what you want to start, what you want to stop. And if you did the training that you got free for joining us today, and you went through that, to really leverage those techniques. What is it? If it's a big thing you got to own for the month of January, here's what I'm going to go after. Just one behavioral change, one goal. So many people get lost in the idea of resolutions. They go, oh my gosh, there's too much that I want to do. But we've got that beauty of the way the grid of the calendar works, right? We've got 4 weeks in a month, typically. We have 1 month. Now we have 7 days per week. So if it's a big goal, I always tell people, go and set that as a month goal. If it's a smaller goal, but it needs some time to really kind of ingrain and just kind of walk into this and baby step it, try it for a week. But if you're like, you know what, I just need to make this behavioral shift. For example, drinking more water. That might be a day goal. For me, that was a pretty simple shift. I just had to make sure I had water within this arm's reach, and I buy just the way it works out, because it's right there, I hydrate more. And we know the importance of hydration. If you don't, we'll talk a little bit about that as we get through this work today. So what is that for you? Anything there for you as you do that? I'm gonna take a look at some of the comments. Aw, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Nina, Happy New Year. And hey, Ann. Aw, very cool. Aw, so good to see. Carla's here, Camilla's here. Oh, we got tons of people in the house. I love this. Thanks all for being here with me. Thank you so much for letting me have this time with you. Spend this time really working through some powerful work today. So now we've covered purpose. Things should flow a little faster now. Next up is passion. And I really want to help you understand, when you look back over 2018, what brought you that emotional surge? Like, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm loving it as I'm doing it. Did you get enough of that? What was the setup for that? What was the payoff? Not necessarily in money, but in your feeling that you've, I'm going to come back to that again, helped others improve their life somehow and or grew their business, right? What is that for you? How passionate overall in 2018 did you feel? 0, you know what, I had a couple, well, 0 would be no ticks of emotional ignition. 10 would be like, I was flying like Tarzan on ropes of passion. I went from one thing to another and I was lit the entire year. And when I slept, I went to sleep and woke up, bump, ready to roll, didn't even need an alarm, going after it. What is that for you? I'm going to give myself an 8 for that. As so many of you know, in our community, back in September, I kind of got thrown sideways with this situation with my girls and their mom and all this kind of stuff. And it was really hard because I haven't dealt with that in a long time. But we turned that around and did training on it. How to handle toxic people. And went through a really powerful framework. Didn't know that when we take life's situations, life's circumstance, and as teachers, trainers, thought leaders, we flip that into, what can I do to help others through this? I had no idea it would help dozens of people. And I'll tell you this, 5 people came to me because the first thing I said is you have to recognize if you're in danger, like physical danger. That was number 1 in red, if you remember that training. 5 people came to me and said, I'm in physical danger. And I was able to help. It gives me chills just telling you this. I was able to help 3 of them get out of physical danger, and 2 of them course correct their lives. Physical abuse kind of danger. You follow? I take this incredibly seriously because here's what we know. The world needs more of us doing this work, helping others. There's so much negative, neutral positioning and languaging going on, unfortunately, that when we're doing what we're doing and putting that kind of work in, and really listening to what's showing up in our lives that could be teachable for others, boom, what's that shift, right? Oh, it's so powerful. So I'd love to know if you feel like sharing in the chat log, go ahead and share. How passionate have you felt overall in 2018? Now as we bring that into context for the more or less start stop, what is it that brought you passion, that ignited your passion? What do you need to bring more of or do more of in 2019? What were things that just like pouring water on a fire stomped it out? Who do you need to be around less? What circumstances, situations? What do you need to start? What do you need to stop along the lines of passion? You follow? So let me give you some illustration here. A lot of people are like, when I want to be more passionate, I got to get in the mode, set some deadlines to go after it. We teach this in high performance. Necessity, external deadline, right? Like this, just being here right now today, I was prepping for this for the last week, mentally, getting my sleep, hydrating, not partying too late last night because I want to be here present with you. And I knew that if I partied too late, I wouldn't be as good as I think I am. I hope I'm crushing it for you. But really owning that, right? So just knowing that we're going to spend this time together today really helped ignite my passion. You follow? So I just had to be prepped for that. So in line of this framework, I had to set more deadlines, more events. Now we have a community and we have all these scheduled events, and I know I got to be on for those events, and I got to be on when those events aren't happening too. So for me, big thing was necessity, setting deadlines and knowing who I want to be when I show up and how I want to feel for that. So more deadlines, and start really going after sleep, hydration, eating right, exercise, all the things that support my energy. So when those events hit, boom, I'm in. I've been doing really well there. Some changes I want to make for 2019, and I'm on it. But does that help? I just want to make sure I'm giving you context for this. What is it for you? I'd love for you to share as you think this out. Third P, positivity. As you look back over the year, in all contexts, how do you feel about how well you've brought the joy? So many people that I've coached have said, there's two parts to positivity for me. When people see me, they know I'm bringing joy and I have a smile on my face most of the time. But there's the internal self-talk. And I'm my worst critic. And I'm in this neutral, negative mindset a lot about me. And so they've rated themselves two different scores here. Internally, 2. Externally, 8. So if self-talk, your psychology is an issue for you, please feel free to email me. I'll give you some specific training that will help there. You and I can have a conversation because I've had to deal with that in my history. The self-talk piece, I don't know, a lot of you do know this. In my mom's side of the family, there's a depression streak. And my mom's cousin, Gene, my second cousin, I think is how that works out. I got him into our business. He was having bad times. This was about 2006, 7, 8. And then he just let that negative self-talk just spiral out of control. Ended up committing suicide about 5 miles from here in 2008. And I felt like I did everything that I could. But I said to myself, and I don't have any regrets about that because I really believed that I did everything I could. But my commitment is to make sure if your self-talk feels like it's going over here and over there and it's downward spiral, whatever that is, that you have somebody that you can talk to that will support you, that you can just express. Whatever it is for you, I'm cool with it. I don't bring judgment. I learned a long time ago, bringing judgment to situations shuts me off from being able to really serve. So whatever that is for you, let's just have that conversation. So if you're going into the new year right now and you're like scared, fearful, man, I don't know how this year's going to turn out. And you got neutral, negative mindset going on, let's have that conversation. If you feel like sharing, one of the big things we know, open and vulnerable, really helps ignite you just getting it out of your system, putting it out into the world, and lets us know how we can serve, support, and help you. Right in this community, right now, we've got how many people? Like over 30 people watching. And if you put that into the universe and you're like, I need help with this, I will guarantee me and others will be on that for you. Taking care of you, serving you, helping you. Bring more joy, bring more positivity in light of whatever's showing up. You follow? So when I look over the year, 2018, I think I did a 7. There's a lot of self-talk going on here. But what's next? Beautifully, and I'm very blessed to share this with you, I feel like I have great intuition about what I need to do next. And we've been laying all that out. But there's still the self-talk side versus the external. You know, when I'm on camera and going after it. Not that I'm totally like a different person off camera by any means, just that I know I can be better there. I know I can bring more joy internally. And I've dialed that in. I shared at the very beginning in the chat log. The big lesson I learned is full presence, less distractions, to be more connected with my feelings, thoughts, emotions, those kind of things. You follow? So I'd love to know in line of what we just covered, what's something you want more of related to positivity, bringing the joy in 2019? Maybe something, you know what, I gotta be, sometimes this is how it shows up. I gotta be around those people less. Because when I get done with that, it's like a 2-day recovery for my being, my mental capacities to just get me back on path. Highest performers, as we know, a lot of us are coaches, we're back on tracking, like we're tracking fast towards really going after, okay, I just got totally sideswiped. We got practices to play. I like to say we have a systems operating manual for our best self. That's like, okay, how bad am I right now in terms of what just happened? Oh man, I'm tanked. All right, I need to go to the beach. This is my systems guide. If you want to copy it and share it, cool. Go to the beach, chill out, barefoot in the sand for a while. Go and just chill out at the Continental in Naples, maybe at Bartulia, maybe at the French, maybe down to Delicious Raw. If you saw my Instagram from 2 days ago, I was with my dad. We got some green smoothies. Well, I got a green smoothie. He got a strawberry banana one. And he's just like, dude, we need more of this. Dad got a little tearful there for a minute. And I'm like, Dad, I totally get it, man. We've got to create more of this for ourselves in 2019. You follow? That's the kicker here. So I hope this is helping and stirring stuff up for you. And I hope you're enjoying this exercise so far. If you are, would love to share one thing from just the work we've done so far that will really help you excel. If you just push and take action on it. Going back to that, okay, I got some intention, I'm gonna take some action. What is it so far? Just one thing you wanna take action on. Maybe today, right after the session, right after our call, that, if I just did this one thing and I did it well and consistently, the C word, I think things would be better for me. I think things would be better for those I'm around. Cool? All right, let's go to the fourth P, productivity. So productive. And I want to make sure I frame for you, we are not talking about busy work here. We're not talking about being more busy. We're talking productivity. Let me frame for you what that is. Productivity in the line of high performance, in the line of the way I perceive it, is that we're doing the right things towards our life's work, our life's ambitions, those kinds of things. You follow? So that presumes that you have life's ambitions defined. So my question for you right now is, do you have life's ambitions defined? If you do not, you're going to love where we go here in these 5 hours, because it's really going to help you course correct on that. If you do have life's ambitions, how well have you been going after them in 2018? 0. Well, I knew what my life's ambitions are, but I stunk at going after them. To 10. I had my life's ambitions and I actually had them strategically planned. So the first quarter of 2018, I did this, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Some of that was just making sure I was building my business, doing that work. Others were making sure I was taking my family and my friends on adventures. So in line of productivity, I'm going to give myself a 9. Here's why. For the first time in my life, when we went over in July to Switzerland, I really felt in command of my ship, even on vacation. I don't know if you're an entrepreneur, if you've ever felt this, but when you're on vacation, you're like kind of having to step one foot in the work pool. And I did, and I had it strategically planned. I do that before anybody got up, just to make sure things were in check, because I work better when I feel like those things are in check. But I also set it up so there wasn't a lot to do. You follow? And I could step fully into enjoying the trip, because I care so much about the people I serve that if they're reaching out and I happen to be on vacation and our alignment isn't where they need help and I'm on vacation, that at least I can direct them or help them or whatever in that small pocket of time I create every morning to assure they know I'm here. That's my commitment. You don't have to be that guy or girl. That's cool. But you follow? So in another example, a full day of productivity for me was sitting, playing games, reading. We went to the park, which is right outside of our beautiful place we live. And we went down to Naples, to the beach with my girls, just being with them for a full Sunday. One day in 2018, we drove over to Miami, went to the Betsy, which is a hotel, and it's got this beautiful brunch with these amazing things called popovers. We own that. And then we walked the beach and just celebrated that we were over there. And we drove by Wynwood, the art district. And then we kind of saw the bikes that you can rent. And we kind of made a plan for 2019 to say, let's spend maybe a night over here and do some biking. Go explore the art districts. Go look at Art Deco in South Beach. Hit some good eats, have some fun. Little kind of local adventure, if you will. You follow? Those are full days of productivity for me. If that's news to you, you're like, no, that's not productivity. Productivity to me is having to crush this list that's for work or whatever I got for responsibility. Nope. In the high performance realm, we call productivity living into your best self with whoever you're around. A full day of productivity could be watching 3 movies. Now, my challenge for myself anytime I watch a movie is, does this movie open my mind to new possibilities, to new life, to different lifestyles? So one of my favorite movies, I just rewatched it with my dad and my stepmom the other night, was Crazy Rich Asians. Have you seen it? That's got the comedy aspect, haven't been to Singapore, like that whole scene is amazing. I don't know what the hotel's called, but it's got the 3 big tiers with like a surfboard across the top, right there downtown Singapore. Like, holy moly, that movie's awesome. So really exploring new areas, but also having some entertainment too. You follow? So these are some of the things. I just want to make sure I paint the frame for you a little bit on what productivity is, so that you're completely geared to maybe, if you have to, make that pivot for 2019 the way you're perceiving productivity, but also to live that full life. What we teach in high performance is that idea that we're living full engagement, alive, joy, confidence, and really going after it on an enduring basis. And when negative or neutral thoughts come up, We've got coping mechanisms. We've got systems. I like to call them systems. We've got a series of things. You know what? I see you, negative thought. I'm going to put you right back over there while I go and have some fun. You follow? So what is that for you? I'd love for you to share your ranking. Productivity. What is it? 0, not productive at all in 2018. 10, owned it. Whew. What is it as we go into the more, less, start, stop? What do you need more of? I just gave you permission to watch more movies. Self-care time. Time with your family. Shift that gear. I've heard a lot of people I coach are like, wait a minute, that's not how I ever viewed productivity. I'm like, yeah, to live a full life. And we'll talk a lot about that as we get into these beautiful 5 hours. So I just want to make sure we're dialing in for you. Really going after it. You follow? So what is that? What do you need to bring more of in 2019 to feel more productive? What do you need to do less of? What do you need to start? What do you need to stop? Sometimes when I do this exercise with people, they're like, you know what I need to start? I need to track the things that I feel productive about doing. And then say, was it really productive or did I just feel that? A lot of people, they'll do busy work and they feel productive about it. But when you put on the lens of going after life's work and life's ambitions, they're like, that was a complete waste of my time. I need to delegate that or delete that out of my life. Give myself permission to do that. You follow? Oh, it's so gold. And the last piece, the last 5, the last element of the 5th of the 5 P's is profitability or profitable. So this presumes, couple setup for you a little bit here. This presumes that you know your savings rate, your spending rate, or as I like to say, that you know your break even, the amount of money that you must make either per month or per year that takes care of all your basic expenses. That's where I always start in all the work that we do with any entrepreneur, especially those coming from corporate into entrepreneur who are like, I just got paychecks. I don't really know how this all works. We've got to figure out break even. The highest performers know their spending versus savings rate. What do I mean by that? I mean, they know they're aiming for 50% savings of every dollar that comes in. Imagine that for a minute. That's an insane amount. It depends on your lifestyle, whatever that would be. But for every, let's just say every 10K per month, that's 120K a year, right? 5,000 of that is put into savings, investing. Whatever that be, a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, whatever it is, or investment in properties, and whatever that would be, they've created a life where that's real for them. Now, this is a struggle, and I know with a lot of the people that I coach, this is a huge struggle. They're like, I can't even save anything right now. I'm fully loaded in debt. And if that's showing up for you, and you want to make that shift in 2019, please let me know, because I got specific training that will work through that with you. And I'll be happy to support you on righting that ship, if that's your desire. You follow? So true profitability, when we think about it from the big picture, is being able to do the things we love, meaning spend money on things we love, but also saving while taking care of our responsibilities. Kind of like 3 different buckets, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. We have the savings bucket. We have another bucket, the things that we love to do, acquire, hobbies, collection, whatever that would be. Some people collect things, like coins. And then over here we have the expense bucket. What I've seen a lot of people do, and I'm guilty of this back in my 30s, is I started rolling the dough and I got my big business flowing and everything back in the 90s. And next thing you know, my expenses got inflationary. Like, let's just get that, let's do this. Swipe, swipe, go after it. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Then I realized, for me, that was 34, that I wanted to live a life of experience, not stuff. So I ended up selling, you may have heard that story of mine, 90% of my things in the end of 2005, beginning of 2006, sold 90% of my things, moved into a high-rise condo, kept it, and I've lived that way. I'm so blessed to report that to you. Very minimalistic, as we're calling it in today's terms. Got great things, like the camera I'm looking at you through, the Lumix GH5 Panasonic. Spent a lot of money on it, but I use it and love it and take care of it. And I have for the last year. It was my best, I would say my best investment for 2018 was that camera. Because it's so gold for the work we're doing today and the work that we do in terms of training and thought leadership and all those kind of things. It's great quality. It's a workhorse. It just handles it. You follow? So that's the kind of thing as I was really careful about. Our job as we think about profitability is like, what expenses do I not need? So let me kind of paint the frame for you and a couple exercises you can do to really own this. Along the lines of here, more or less start, stop. I purposefully do not import credit card statements into QuickBooks for my businesses because I manually type them in and I allocate time. It's this upcoming Saturday to do that work. And it doesn't take a lot of time because I don't have a lot of transactions per se, like definitely below a couple hundred. I mean, over the course of a whole year, like that's the scene. But as I put those in, I'm thinking, was this the best of me? Did we get enjoyment out of this? Was this a necessity? You follow? Now that's like the advanced version. The easiest way to think this through for you if you're having trouble with that spend versus savings rate is to print maybe the last 3 months of credit card statements or profit and loss statement or whatever that is for you. Get a green highlighter, a red, and a yellow and go through each item and highlight. Green is an absolute necessity. Gotta have that. That's something that sustains me, my business. It's a consumable, something I have to buy like groceries. Yellows are like, whoa, what happened here? That could have been less expensive. And red is like, oops. You follow? Just doing that exercise has helped so many, dozens of people I've coached really dial in behavioral shifts because they don't want to have to do that. If they commit to doing that every month or every quarter, going over their credit card statements, boom. I've had it where I've had couples in the room and we print out the same statements for each. And over here, he's highlighting this in red and orange and a couple green, and she's over here going green, 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 green. That was interesting. That's happened a few times. But we were able to really work towards a growth, like a compromise. You follow? I hope this helps because this is a big part of this. So many people are like, I gotta convert X, Y, or Z, like in lines of monthly membership. I gotta convert $97 a month. I gotta convert 100 of them just to break even with my expenses. And then when we really dial in, you're like, maybe we can convert 80 of them because we tuned our spending rate. You follow? Is this helpful for you? Please let me know. If you need more of this, let me know. I got training for you on that. I want to make sure you're taken care of. So let's reframe here. Going back over the 2018. How profitable in light of what we shared were you? Like today, if you look in your bank accounts versus where you were a year ago, do you have money in your retirement accounts that you didn't have? Do you have money in your checking account, your savings account? Or are you like, whoopsie, where'd that go? Not only do I not have money, I'm in debt, even more than I was a year ago. What is that for you? So for me, I am going to put that at a 10. This was probably the best year ever for me in that regard. Not that I made like bazillions. We made a lot of money this year, but that I changed behavioral pieces with these things that were read on my credit card statements over the last couple of years. You follow? And we were able to do other things that brought love, connection, and joy instead of more expensive things. You follow? So one more exercise I want to leave you with. I've talked about this a lot before if you follow me. It's the no, low, medium, and high cost things. As a total separate exercise from what we're doing today, with your family if you want, take one sheet of paper, put a grid in the middle. In the upper left, put no. In the upper right, put low. In the lower left, put medium. In the lower right, put high. And have each member of your family or your friends, whatever that is for you, put things you love to do that are no cost. Things you love to do that are low cost. So when I say low cost, it's like per person, maybe $10 or less. When I say medium cost, maybe it's $100 or less per person. And high cost is over $100. So let me just give you context. No cost things, go for a walk in the park, right? Low cost things, if you want to consider you got to buy Uno, would be to get Uno. Then after that, it's no cost, right? But go putt-putt. Go to low cost, might be go to the movies, depending on the movie price tag, or if we rent a movie through iTunes, something like that, below 10. And then medium cost might be a day trip to Busch Gardens, day trip to Naples. And then high cost, where I live in Florida, it might be a whole weekend or more at Disney World up in Orlando, near Orlando. You follow? So no, low, medium, high. And then compare notes and circle the ones that are like, that you all like. Hey, do we all like? Yeah, okay. And I challenge you, if you find those, is to write the ones you all like. If you got 5, 10 of them, cut them up, like put them on paper, cut them up individually, and then draw them. On days where your family and you, it's a weekend, you're like, I'm not sure what to do. Go put it in a fishbowl, draw it. Hey, you know what? We all like to do this. Maybe it says Uno. Play Uno. We're on it. You follow? I hope this helps. Just these little nuances, just these little hints can make all the difference towards this. You follow? Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you. So in light of all the stuff, I know we dove deep on these 5 Ps. I know we hopefully have some notes here in the more or less start stop columns. How are we doing? Let me check on the comments here. Oh yeah, got some great comments. Oh, Mindy's in the house. Hi Mindy. Hi Judy. Rob's here. Oh, Sarah's here. Patrick's here. I love this. Beautiful. So let's go ahead with all the comments we've got so far. Let's see what we have here. We got 125 Coastline. 125 Coastline, can you tell me who you are? Because I'm not exactly sure who you are. Just pop a note in here. Excellent. Sweet. Amy says more positivity. Excellent, okay. So what I want to do now, if you're sitting, stand. Let's bring some energy into our being for a little bit. Sometimes in the high performance we do this. Just stand, close our eyes, bounce in place, take deep breaths. We'll do 3 of them. Kind of shake it out. If you got some hydration, grab your water, take a drink. This next part of our exercise is going to be just a little bit emotional. It may be different for you, but I want to make sure that we own this and really clear our minds. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to dive into the 5 R's. Imagine a world where somebody interviewed thousands of people who are on their way out of this life with terminal illness. They knew they had limited days left. And that person summed up out of 20, I think it's 23, 25 years, the 5 regrets that these people shared. Different wording probably for the different people, but these are the 5 themes. And they put it in a book and gifted it to you and me to be like, if these people who went through life, thousands of them, reflected back and gave advice on things they regretted, maybe we need to consider them as we're going through life for ourselves. You follow? This can be a little bit emotional for some, and if that's it for you, get the tissues, be real with it, that's totally cool. I know every year I either reread my notes or I reread the book. Last year I reread the book. Amy, I know you're here, you saw me rereading it up at Mom and Dad's in Ohio. And this is the book. It is called The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. Now we're not going to read the book together, but what I am going to do, and there's a blog post, I'm going to copy it into the comments. If you guys want to follow along, feel free. And this post basically summarizes the whole book, The 5 Regrets. It's from Huffington Post. And here's how it works. So the very first regret, I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll kind of talk it out a little bit. The first regret, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Now, I want to give you some context here. This was the most common regret of all. When people realize that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it, it's easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Most people have not honored even half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to choices they had made or not made. Health brings a freedom very few realize until they no longer have it. So, the first R, let me switch to green. If I'm writing, you should be writing, is true life. We'll put courage. To live my true life courageously. So in line of what I just shared, reflect back on 2018. How have you been doing at living your true life? Do you have it well defined? Are you being courageous about it? Are you living your life, not the life others expect of you? What's showing up for you there? Having the honor of coaching over 3,000 sessions of high performance. When we hit session 4 in the core, we have, if you're not familiar with our high performance framework, we start with clarity, energy, courage, Those kind of things. Like we actually start with focal points, but clarity, energy, courage. And courage is the one where we're like really getting momentum and people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, courage means these things. I ain't living into some of those or any of those. You follow? So think about this for a minute. If you want to park this exercise and you think about the more, less, start, stop, what does it mean for you to live your true life? Does it mean you really have to sit down maybe after today's session and journal? My true life is ... Whew. The qualities, characteristics, traits, habits, mindset, behaviors, all these things that are you in your truest form, right? And then kind of, what do I have to stop? Like, these things I'm doing, but they're not about me. They're like learned habits because I'm trying to appease others. I know this can be tough. And if it is for you, share. So we're going to go back and rate ourselves. 2018, how'd you do here? Living your true life courageously. Who you know you can be on this beautiful planet of ours. I'm going to give myself an 8. Got some work to do. Showed up with the situation in September that we did that training on. I was like, oh, and boy, the old mindset, behavioral patterns, even if you've studied the subconscious at all, subconscious took over for a while. It was like, dude, clam up, don't share, don't go anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Go in your hole, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, 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 no. Boy, that took some time to like get myself back righted and go after it. But whatever it is for you, I want you to take a moment. Think about my true life. What do I need more of to live into my true life? What do I need less of? What do I need to start? What do I need to stop? Anything showing up for you there? If you feel like sharing, would love to see, even if you just want to share your rating. All right, let's go into the second R. Second R, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I'm going to give you the context for this. This came from every male patient that Bronnie nursed. They missed their children's youth, their partnership's companionship. Women also spoke of this regret, but as they were from the older generation, many of the female patients weren't the breadwinners. All of the men she nursed deeply regretted spending too much of their lives working on the treadmill of a work existence. So as you look back over 2018, how did you do here? Work. Too hard. There wasn't a day in 2018 that passed that I didn't think of that regret. And that shift in my mind pivoted me. Because the old me would be like, guys, I can't play right now, The new me in 2018 said, when I hear myself say that, I need to drop what I'm doing and leave. Leave the work scene and go play. And guess what I found out? After 45, 46 years of me being the other way, that stuff got done. And I brought new energy to it. And I felt less guilty because I didn't override the experience with my girls or with Mel or with whoever because of work. I had major workaholic tendencies in my 20s and 30s to the harm of many relationships. I'll tell you that. So I'd love to know as you think this out for you. In 2018, did you work too hard? What's your rating there? Do you have any idea of what you need to do more of, or less of, start and stop in regard to that? What is it for you? I don't like the word balance personally, I like the word harmony. So I don't like the word work-life balance at all. Because to me it's like, I'm in work mode, I'm in life mode, I'm balancing. And balance, to me, there's no movement. Harmony is like this. So the way it shows up in my life is if I'm in work mode and somebody comes in or does something, I'm like, okay, for whatever reason, I got to pause this. I have put clear boundaries around. When I'm in my home studio, for example, and I have the door shut, then I'm in work mode. And if somebody comes in, they understand, but I'm in work mode. But I'm cool with it. I don't like, why are you in here? Ugh, that used to be me the old way. I'm just like, okay, life's showing up. I got to handle it. You follow? It's just being good with what is, what shows up. I got clear lists. We talk a lot about that in high performance and productivity, and I'm after it. That's the shift. So what is it for you? Worked hard. And for me, the rating we're going to give ourselves is that if we did work too hard, that would be a low number. So what I mean by that is 0 means we were working way too hard, right? 10 means we had good harmony. So I'm going to kind of put context here, harmony in life and work. And I'm going to give myself a 9 there. I'll give it a 9 plus. Because like I said, that one shift mindset-wise is that when I recognize that, oh my gosh, I got to stop this stuff that I committed to, or somebody wants to play or whatever it is, usually it's a scheduled thing, boom, I got to drop what I got. So I usually say this, hey, give me 2 minutes. I'm going to take notes on my thoughts right now. So when I enter back into work mode, that I'm on fire. And I go into Evernote and my little one-page productivity planner, the way I do it, and I just note where I'm at. And then I pause. Then I go and play or do whatever we got to do. You follow? That was huge for me, and I hope that helps you. So in light of what we shared here, more, less, start, stop. What is it for you? You finding this helpful? We're just riding on the shoulders of generations and ancestors before us. Lessons learned, and kind of rewinding that and going after it. Good stuff. So let's see what you got. Anybody commenting? Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Thanks so much for sharing, everybody. Third, I wish I had the courage to express my true feelings. Let me give you the context. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses related to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result. I see this in a lot of thought leaders that I have coached or that are just thinking about it. They want to, they set the intention to, but then somebody usually close to them, either their wife, husband, friend, family, are like, that's not a real job. What are you thinking? And they're getting hammered with that negative, neutral mindset from other people around them. And they recognize, and they usually do this, that they need to build their courage muscle. We talk a lot about that in session 4 of High Performance. We also talk a lot about that in the New Declarations, session 2, Beyond Fear, to really just go and do it anyway. But to have the command, the character, the stature to just stand up to it and go after it. So for me, in light of what I've just shared, what worked for me to just kind of say, world, you step aside, I'm going after my dream, was the second agreement in the book, The 4 Agreements. If you haven't read The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, the second agreement is do not take anything personally. And that opened the gateway. Once I got that, it's easy for me to say it to you, but when you really integrate that, and you really recognize what Don talks about in the book, other people's illustrations, other people's illusions, he calls it, their dreams, and they're trying to just push it on you and make you see their dream or illusion of life. It's like, no, that's your dream, that's your illusion, that's your way of showing up. I got clear vision, I got clear passion, I got clear purpose. I'm going after this, whether you're on board or not. Sit back and watch. You know, it's so easy for me to say that, but when you step into that, it's a whole different journey, isn't it? So I'd love to know, as you reflect back on 2018, have you been expressing your feelings? In line of thought leadership, have you been going after putting those Facebook Lives out, doing those videos? Have you been going after, if you're building your coaching business, a lot of CHPCs in our groups, have you been going after your coaching business? Have you been doing what we talked about in some of our training? We talk about that, recognizing people struggle, going after and helping them co-create an ambition and saying, I can help you between this S and this A, the struggle to the ambition, I can help you get there faster and really continue to build out what's possible for you. And it'd be my honor to help you with that. And we can start that with a strategy session. You follow? Really, really powerful when you get that in play. But that does require courage. It requires expressing yourself, your true feelings, right? So how are you doing there? Express my feelings. 0? Yeah, I don't do that. 10? Own it. And I have to say a 9 plus. I say a 9 plus there. Probably would have rated it a 10 if September didn't happen. Where I had that whole shizbangery in what we taught about in September's monthly mastery training about how to handle negative, toxic people. I could have handled that so much better. And boy, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on that to really own it. You follow? So I'd love for you to break this down a little bit. Expressing your true feelings. Who is it right now? Maybe not today, but I would challenge you to think about doing it today. That you just need to call, text, sit down with, to really express how you feel. And how are you going to do that positively framed? How are you going to do that from a place of just, you know what? Something needs to change here. And I really want to make sure that we're on this path together in a real positive, joyous, purposeful, productive fashion. Can we talk? So I really hope this helps, because this is a huge part to really going after having your best year ever in 2019. And that is our theme today, right? So what is that? Do you need help role-playing that conversation? If you need help role-playing that conversation, either comment or pop me an email. You can just reply to one of the emails that came in. I'm happy to get on a call with you or have you in one of our monthly Zoom roundtables, or if you're in our community, you're in our Zoom roundtables, and we'll just role-play how that can be. Here's the power of that. We were doing the courage session, a client of mine and me, and we role-played how he was going to talk to his wife about a topic that he really needs to address. And I can't share what the topic is due to confidentiality, but in the role play, I said, if you were really going to tell her from a place of positive growth, joy, and even sternness, what you wanted to say, how would you deliver it? With energy. And he started, I'm like, no, even more energy. So he said, all right, here we go. And he did it. And it was about a minute, I think it was like 2 minutes long. And my challenge from at the end was to play that clip to her from our recording. I gave him the recording when the time was right. Guess what he did? He did it. He said, sweetheart, I was in coaching. I know you know I'm in coaching. And I just got to tell you something. And I can't think that I could say it better than I did when I got role played with my coach. Would it be okay if I played it for you? Sure. And he played it. That was a major shift for him. And that is, by the way, why I love, with permission of people I coach, to assure that our calls are recorded, because they can hear themselves. And I'll timestamp sometimes those times where they really got emotional peaks. And I'll be like, you got to go back and listen to yourself. Tell yourself why that was important. You got to go back and listen to the way you want to have that conversation. You got to go back and listen to what we just covered to get more growth, to go after it. You follow? So incredibly powerful. So who is that for you? You don't have to share it if you don't want to. I understand confidentiality. You know what? Got to do it on my terms. But if you want to be held accountable for it, make sure you write it down and you think about bringing the best version of you into that conversation, arcing where you want that conversation to go maybe, or that you just want to forward it. You don't have to get to a result. You're just going after it. Cool? I hope this helps. Just these little nuances, these little tidbits can make all the difference. Because you know what? I always say this. There's a lot of movies out there that in the first 5 minutes, you're like, oh my gosh, if they just communicated, this movie would be 10 minutes long. But that whole movie's arc is because they aren't communicating and they're afraid to tell each other and da-da-da-da-da, right? Oh my gosh. Makes for good drama. But I want to make sure you're living in your best year. And what so many people report is drama's reduced for their best year. And it comes back to this guy. Expressing your feelings, communicating openly, but doing it joyfully, positively stern, and really going after it. So how are we doing so far in line of all this? Good? Is this helpful? Again, what do you need to do more of? What do you want less of? What do you need to start? What do you need to stop? So many people, when I've done this with this grid, they've said, I need to stop not saying anything when I know it needs to be said. So they've shifted it. 2 of them said, as soon as I sense, oh, I should say something, I just say it. Like those words coming out, I should say something. And for years they didn't. And they try to deliver it with a smile and a positive frame, and they give themselves a beat to really think about saying it from the best version of themselves. You follow? Pretty cool, huh? Oh, I hope this helps. Okay, number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Here's the context. Often they would not truly realize the benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they let golden friendships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort that they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they're dying. Let's see what we got here. Golden friendships. We're going to call this one Golden Friendships. And for the year 2018, 0 to 10, how well have you been doing at consistently creating, building, maintaining, whatever that is for you, exceptional relationships with the people that you just know you want to have in your life for the rest of your life, the rest of the time you're blessed to be on this beautiful planet. Do you have scheduled events? A lot of times when I go over this exercise, people are like, I just got to get in the schedule that we're doing game night, Uno, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month. And that we're having a theme that night and we're going to bring in cheese sampling from European countries one night, and then the next year we're bringing beer samples from different countries and blah, 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 whatever it is. And just have theme nights 12 times per year to really go after keeping these relationships alive, vibrant. So I don't have any regrets along this line when I look back over my life. Even a year from now, right? What is that for you? So in the golden friendships, I'm going to give myself a 7. I need to schedule and do what I just told you. Have themed celebrations. And I got to be very cool and strategic, I would say, about making sure that I'm doing that consistently and really creating experiences. And I see with what I've learned in 2018 about creating experiences with my family, that we can fold that in to create bigger experiences for friends. So if you're in the mastery community, I am really aiming when we go to Brendan events, stuff like that, where we get together, for some of us that are in the Brendan's world, of creating experiences outside of the event itself, which is tricky because that event is usually freaking fantastic, right? So I'm all ears and open. I got some great ideas I brainstormed. Would love to hear from you in terms of that. Does that sound good? Awesome. Okay. So the last one, the last R, here it is. And this one is so pivotal along this line. I wish I had let myself be happier. This is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice, that they had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits, the so-called comfort of familiarity, overflowed in their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. 2 operative words. Laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. When I reread the book last year, I put up here and here, I said, I need more silliness and laughs. At the end of a day, I need to know that I laughed at least 20 times. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make that happen. But guess what I did? As a goal, shifted down into the goals for 2018. I watch prank videos on YouTube. Not mean ones, just funny ones. And I watch them with my girls. And if you've been with me, some of you watched them with me here in the studio. And we've just sat down and had some fun. Watch James Corden doing those, what is it? Spill your guts or fill your guts. If you go on YouTube, you'll see that. That's hilarious. So I purposefully put comedy in my life. Karen, one of our beautiful community members, high performance humor, she's played a pivotal role in just inspiring me to bring more happiness and joy into things. You follow? So happier in the sense of more laughs. Like if you really look at the outputs that need to come out of my face to demonstrate more happiness, it's more smiles, more positivity, but it's also laughter, right? What can you do and what have you done in 2018 to really facilitate joy and laughter? What they say, they laugh properly and have silliness again. So what do we have here? Happiness. We'll put laughter and silliness. How much of that did you have in 2018 on a consistent basis, 0 to 10? I'm going to give myself a 6 because there were times where things were not happy and they were not silly and there wasn't a lot of laughs. And I could have been better as I reflect back on pivoting. And if that meant in my next productivity break, working for 50 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Right now I need more laughter and silliness to just stand up, maybe watch a YouTube video, not get caught on the YouTube distraction train, but just some of the stuff that I love to see, you know? That's it. Or call somebody. Tell me a joke. Text somebody, hey, tell me a joke, right? If thousands of people reflected back on their lives and told you this and said, these are 5 critical areas that you need to really own to not have a life of regret, or in the context for today's work, you and me, to really own making 2019 our best year ever. What are we going to do in these areas? What do we need to have more of in our life? What do we need to have less of? What do we need to start? Stop. So yeah, Charlie, the high performance coach, says you get permission to go on YouTube and laugh. I just challenge you to stay on YouTube for a little bit and make sure those videos really ignite you. Maybe whatever line of humor you like, that you're on it for that. And maybe it isn't YouTube for you. Maybe it's reading a joke book. Maybe it's calling somebody you know that's going to make you laugh, right? Maybe it's going into the high performance humor group on YouTube that Karen and Amanda have put together and just reading through that. Whatever that is for you, just own it. So in light of all that, I'd love to know, we've gone through the biggest, beefiest part here. We're going to hit some of these easier ones, and then we're going to drill into some goals as we wrap up today's beautiful journey on making 2019 our best year ever. I needed to get through the big, beefy, I call this the perspective of why we're doing what we're doing. This, making sure we're learning lessons from previous generations about what to watch out for, what to own. This context right here is the way we create and brainstorm vision. Simple contrasting, very simple exercise. More of this, less of this. Start this, stop this. So in light of all that, I'd love to know. I want to hand out some amazing gifts today that I've got. First and foremost, there's a couple games. If you would really enjoy Uno, you don't have it, or this game that my girls and my stepdad and my mom are playing, we're going to play it tonight, Mexican Train Dominoes, or any kind of game that's $10, $15, let me know. I'd love to send 2 or 3 of you any of these. So if you're like, you know what, I would love that, it would really help me bring more joy, more fulfillment. Say, Charlie, would love to send this, and I'll just pick the first 3 that put that into the notes, put it in our chat log. Would love to facilitate you living with more joy, more happiness, more connection. So another thing that I want to make sure of is that if you want to read the 5 Regrets of Dying, I want to give out 2 of these. I'll give it to you. I think it's on Kindle as well. And I'll just send it to you from Amazon. I'd be happy to do that. This book, really pivotal for me, shifting gears. I started reading this 13, I think it was 2012 or 13. And it really helped me understand, now as I reread it and reread my notes, it really helped me understand small, subtle shifts. I shared a couple of them with you today. So I'd love to give that. If you really would love a copy of this, just go ahead and let me know. We can do Kindle or Amazon, and we'll do that. One other thing that I want to make sure, if you haven't got your high performance planner, I want to give out 5 of these. I've been doing this, as you can see, I don't think you can see all the goodies, for the last month. And I can tell you, without a doubt, remember I talked about that positivity versus negative neutral mindset? When I've given myself, there's been a couple days where I just didn't do it, and I went back and I filled it in over the last month, just because of the way things were. But majority of the time, so like 85% of the time, I spend the time in the morning and the evening filling this in. And just doing that in the morning with my cup of coffee and my yogurt, my almond milk yogurt, really helps me visualize the feeling that I want to get as I go through the day. And boy, when Brendan created this, I know he tested this like crazy, but really helped own that for me in the last month. Like I'm noticing that there's a higher level of this and not a lot of this negative, neutral kind of shifts. Does that make sense? So if you want one of these, I want to give a few of these away. Just comment, Charlie, send me a high performance planner. I'll make sure to note that in just a minute. And I got a little list here, I'll keep track of all that. So I just want to make sure, because you've been here, because you've put the time in, this is only for the people in the live cast, it's one of the benefits, that you get a reward, something that can really help you make 2019 your best year ever. It's the very least I can do to support you, serve you, champion you on, to just give you tidbits, something that can shift mindset towards just going after it, taking action, as we talked about earlier, on these beautiful intentions we set. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the last part of our work together today. Before we do that, let me jump into the comments, see how you guys are all doing. Rocking it out here. Excellent. Okay, so we got a bunch of people. I love it. Okay, cool. I'll make sure that I follow up with y'all. And let's see. Mexican Train Dominoes, Linda says. Aw. Excellent. I'll make sure, I'm going to take the chat log from today too. I always go through it after and make sure I answer you guys if there's specific questions you have about specific things. I'll make sure to do that for you as well. So in light of all that, now let's dive into more tactics about really owning our energy and being clear about what we want to do as we go into 2019. And let's get into that. So the life arenas, a lot of you that are high performance coaches know these arenas, and I just want to make sure that we cover those for people who aren't familiar with them. So basically the way it works is this. When we really understand living a life of production, living a full life, so many people are like, yeah, it's about others, and we kind of frame for that, right? But the number one thing they misfire on is self-care, taking care of me. I always do this test with people, and coaches, feel free to borrow this and use this if you don't do this already. I'm like, if you schedule an hour with yourself, and if you have, did you live into that fully? Like it was an hour with somebody you scheduled an appointment with. Meaning this, if I scheduled from noon to 1 on Wednesday, we'll say, to just do nothing, call it a nothing time block, just to sit, chill, and be with myself. What are the chances that you'll live into that as opposed to a session, 12 to 1, same time frame, on Thursday, we'll say, with somebody else? And here's what I found. If you're like, oh, it's just me. I don't really need to, I'm flexible with myself. They don't even say it, they just are that. But the shift is, the highest performers, they look at that time for me with even 2x the drive, the connection as time with others. Not to demote time with others, but they're so solid on that. Whether that time could be working out, whether the time could be meal prep, whether the time could be setting up their day. And I got a lot of work to do here for me, just so I'm being totally open and honest with you, to really own that. So the very first life arena is me. How well have you been doing taking care of yourself? 0 to 10. To just, you know what? I know, and maybe you don't know, we'll go through some things that can help here, that I need a certain amount of sleep, and I got that, or I don't. I know that I need to hydrate. Water, not beer, not alcohol, as a mainstay, right? Coffee, whatever. Those things, you can have those, but it's just making sure you're filling this body. It's what, 70% water, with water on a continued basis. Eating nutrient rich, right? These are some of the kind of things. Meditation. Just reflection time. How well you've been living into, if you have the high performance planner, setting that time in the morning and at night. Maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. Doing the morning prompts, kind of thinking out your day, even though it's maybe in your schedule, just thinking out your day. Answering the questions at the top, taking some notes, doing the evening routine, rating yourself. I got work to do there. So I'd love to know as you think that out. What is it for you? Now, in line of what we just covered, what is it that you might need to have more of or do less of in line of taking care of yourself as you go into 2019? If you've got a nice, juicy, big list under more and less, love to hear about it. Or if you feel like you could, if you know my cell phone number, feel free to take a picture and text it. I love to see this put into play, right? Or pop me an email with it, whatever that is for you. I love to see this, because this, if you did one sheet each, by now you should probably have some things. And we're going to sort through it as we get to the end of this to make sure that we got a couple focal points as we go into 2019. That would be the biggest needle movers, and I'll share some illustrations there too. But in the me context, what do we need to start and stop, right? What is that for you? Anything there? Sometimes people say, I got to start scheduling time with myself. I've got to schedule my day. What's that one saying we have? Focus plus discipline plus schedule equals freedom. It's a high performance quote from our productivity and productivity mastery work, right? Really, really powerful. Next up is love. If you happen to have a significant other, how well have you been doing in 2018? Connection, joy, like we talked about here, happiness, maintaining that exceptional relationship. I got work to do there. I was thinking about that this morning. More connection, more joy, more of these things to really own that. What is it for you? If you don't have a significant other, what is it to bring more love into your life in general? Anything there for you? What do you got to do more of? Less. Sometimes it's so instinctual, like just you feel it, right? You're like, and you may feel this too. You go into a coffee shop. And you're just like, this place feels awesome. It feels like home. I need to spend more time here. More time just creating. Maybe you got your laptop or whatever it is for you, book. I just need to spend more time here bringing love into my world. When we were in Zermatt, Switzerland, there's a couple places there that it just felt amazing. Like I don't know if you feel this, but you go in somewhere brand new and you just feel a full connection of love, a full connection of joy with that place. Anything come up for you? I'd love to share. Maybe around where you live. Like for me, going into Continental Naples, I get that. Bartulia, Naples, just chilling out, having some good hummus with, they have these veggies, like doing this happy hour plate at Bartulia. That, and then maybe I don't eat this a lot, but their little margarita pizza, they call it the Classico. So delicious, freshly made to order. Jimmy's in the back making pizzas. I do that as a reward. But I'm in that zone, and I want much more of that. Not too much more pizza, but more of that on an consistent, enduring basis in 2019. And I'm real clear about that. Other places I've been, you know what? I don't want so much of that. I want less of that. So how to make that shift behaviorally? I got to start scheduling. If these things happen, these productive outputs are met, these are my rewards. And boy, I'm on it. You follow? So I hope we kind of took a little journey there, but you get the idea. Where is it? As you look back over the year, just really take some time, step back in the first part of last year, the summer of last year, the fall, maybe in the last few weeks. Where was it that you just felt better? More love, more joy. Rob, I know you're on this session here. You were sharing a lot of that when you were seeing singers on Facebook, like with Facebook Live, right? You're in the, I don't even know if it was a pub or what, but like these different places where these live singers, they're going after it, bands, that kind of stuff. Like, I love that. And if you've seen some of my stream in the last year, seeing the Hot Buttered Nuggets, the guy that can play the trumpet, saxophone, all these sounds come out of his mouth. Amazing. Doug and Ruby, the husband and wife, and she plays the wash tub bass and go after it. That, more of that, please. Really powerful. So you got anything to share, feel free to do that. Would love for you to make sure that you've at least noted something in each of these boxes for more, less, start, and stop. Next up, family and friends. We've really talked this through in light of the 5 R's, but what is it for you? How did you do in 2018 in that realm? Specifically, now we're getting into tactics. What are you going to do to bring more connection, more consistency, more happiness, laughter, silliness, more expression? Talk a lot about that in high performance, creative expression, self-expression with family and friends. To create true experiences. I love AJ and the way he is all about experienced life. And he is, in many, many instances, I've seen him create magical experiences for us. Going out, having a blast, just owning it, you know? So, so powerful. So what is that for you? How well did you do in 2018? What were some things that brought you joy, highlights that you want to bring more into your life in 2019? What are some things that maybe fell apart or people you're around that were like, wow, they really showed their true colors. I want less of that. I want to stop that, but I want to start this. A couple of people I've coached, they've said, I've really got to find growth friends, people who are about ambition, about going after their dreams. And I need to meet with them on an enduring basis, once a week, once every 2 weeks. And 2 of them that I've coached have done that and really owned that. You follow? Oh, it's so exciting when you get this. I hope you're developing your action list. And we're going to sort that out in just a little bit. And your action list is simply these points. That's it. Simple, simple, simple. Next is my mission. Typically, when we say mission in high performance, we're talking about living purposefully and profitably. The work we do in the world that we get compensated for. And when we say mission, it's like we're on this planet for this. And we're clear about that. And if you're not clear about that, that's totally cool. But our job, my job, is to help you really understand. If you recognize, in line of what we've done here, that you have a limited amount of time on this beautiful planet of ours, here's the construct for how we really want to test, measure, improve, remove the different areas to really go after living that life. To live that life full, engaged. Know, but when we go to sleep at night, that we're hitting these things at a 7, 8, 9. When we assess how we did today, we were clear about what we were going after, we were purposeful, we felt emotional fuel, ignition, connection, passion. We had positivity at play. We brought the joy. We lived productively. We did our work, but we also enjoyed who we were around. We enjoyed the people that we're blessed to have in our lives. And we did work that truly went after profitability, creating sustenance for us, our family, in the future. You follow? So what is that for you? When you look at the mission, is there any work there that you need to do? Do you need to do more of something, less, start, or stop? As we teach in our Business Internet Mastery, relationships plus offers equals transactions. So a lot of people, they get the relationships down, they don't have solid offers. Like, hey guys, if you need some help, here's what I got for you. And they're not seeing transactions. And if you need some help there and you haven't been in our training for that, just feel free to either comment or drop me a note. I'm happy to go over that. I'll direct you to some training for that, just to make sure you get more illustration, more than I can do right now with you. Cool? Thank you so much. Love going through this. Thanks so much for letting me do this with you. I hope you're feeling it here. Just get one of those areas down in a little bit, and maybe that's your goal for month January, month of January, just to own one of these a little bit. How are you gonna feel at the end of January? Pretty cool, huh? All right, next up, contribution. This is typically things we do in the world that aren't tied to income, that are just help, volunteering, helping others, whatever that is. GoFundMe projects, whatever that takes the form of. Do you need to bring more contribution into 2019? Do you need to do some things, shift some things up? Some people, they're like, dude, I had my hands in way too much stuff. So I was in this board, that board, I was over here, I was over there, I was doing all this. And they said, I need to reel it down to two things that I really strongly believe in. And I need to own that and go deeper with it. You follow? Really, really powerful there. And that was a major takeaway for them. Because what they found was they were robbing the experience with their family along the lines of work too hard, in the sense that they were working too hard on things that weren't related to where they knew they needed to be, especially one of them has littler kids, 5, 7. And they're like, I'm missing their school things. I'm missing them growing up because I'm involved in so much over here. And there's time in the future for that. But my time right now needs to be with my children. Needs to be being there for them, seeing their smiles, seeing their first whatever event they're in, maybe their first slam dunk in basketball or their first dance or whatever that is, whatever the event could be, right? But they recognize that. So what is that for you? More, less, start, stop. Anything there? Oh, I can't wait to see your lists. Or if you want to share them, put a couple in. I'd love to see that too. Next up is hobbies. We all understand, in the line of high performance anyway, that hobbies help us feel expression and connection with this beautiful time we have on the world. Like something we love to do, to create, to express. So just off camera, I got my guitars. And they weren't used a lot in 2018. So in my list, more guitar time. I love the sound of a heavy metal distorted guitar. Oh, it just soothes my soul, which is probably the anti to a lot of people around me. But I love that. And then a little bit of lead work, that kind of stuff. So just getting back in the practice of doing that more consistently. That's a hobby. Another thing, and a lot of you know this about me, I love video games. I don't let them take over my life, but we play Rocket League on the PS4, my girls and I. We play Mario Kart on the Wii U. We play World of Warcraft on our PC. We got a couple gaming computers, and I play Battlefield 4. I love strategy. These things all help me, really. The weirdest thing, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with you, is that if I go and play one round, it's about 20 minutes of Battlefield 4 as a break in productivity, and I get done with that, I am on fire for my next productivity block where I'm going after work-based things. Because that just ignites me and it encompasses me. It pulls me out of all this stuff. It requires all of my concentration, and then it puts me into this world where I'm driving a Jeep and I'm in the tank and I'm walking around and coming around corners and taking people out, all that kind of stuff. And then I get done with that and I'm like, oh, back on this planet. And I'm able to go in and really own that. So the biggest thing that we found in line of high performance is meditation, or Battlefield 4, they seem like complete opposites, really help us just cleanse our brain and just reconnect and just kind of push that out, put whatever is on our mind, all the tasks we got to do, all this stuff, just put it out there for a little bit. Let's connect with ourselves. Let's reset, recharge, rejuvenate, and then let's come back in and go after it. And that's probably one of my bigger lessons in 2018 too. The power of that. The power of me getting overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I'm not making as much progress on these things that I gotta get done. And then going for a walk, 10 minutes around the buildings where I'm working from the home office. And then coming back in, I feel like a whole new person. Or doing what I like to do is go do power sets down in the gym. And I'll go down and the people down there think I'm nuts because they'll see me come in, knock out some of this, some sit-ups, inverted sit-ups, and then I'm out. I'm like, but you just got here. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll be back later today. I'm just doing power sets throughout the day. And I'm so blessed to be able to do that. That's the shift. You follow? Bring in more joy, more engagement into everything that I do. And if that was too much for you, baby step it. Just try one little break. Maybe if you start your day at 10:30 for 10 minutes. Just chill out. Maybe listen to a few good songs, close your eyes. I like Frank Sinatra, Lana Del Rey. Just chill out and then come back into your work and see if you feel any better. Just that little difference. Try that one day for a week. One day every day for a week at 10:30 and just see if it changes your day, your connection with your day. Do you have any practices you want to share? Would love it if some of you guys that are doing this work could share some of the things that you do to bring in that just unplug from the day, go recharge, reset, rejuvenate, and then replug in. Cool? Awesome. All right, we got about 25 minutes left. I want to make sure I'm owning this for you. Hobbies. Next up, finances. And this really ties into that freedom. So many people, when we talk about productivity and profitability, these kind of things, they're like, oh, there's this huge red source of pain pulsing like an angry pimple. And it is the money. And the fear around it and the lack of it and the fact that if I don't have enough, I feel like I can't support my family. That's like today's version of being able to have stability and security for ourselves and our families, depending on your life, and making sure you got that. So how are you feeling about abundance versus scarcity in line of this life arena? In line of what we talked about earlier, there's a lot of overlap with this, the spending versus savings rate. Really going after things, but feeling comfortable in the financial realm as well. Cool? And then next up, we have spirit. And that's that connected. For some, it's religious. For others, it's just being connected with the universe. Whatever it is for you, what are you doing or what have you done to facilitate connection with your spirit? To just rise above the noise here on planet Earth, as I like to say it, and just go up here, hang out at a higher altitude for a while. Sometimes it's meditation, others say it's yoga, others they're religious practices, reading the Bible, connecting with people at church, those kind of things, whatever that is for you. So in light of the things we've covered, contribution, hobbies, finances, spirit, what do you want more of in 2019? And maybe conversely, what do you want less of? What do you need to start? Every time I say the word start, I'm thinking of, what do I need to put in my schedule and live into? What do I need to stop? You help? Does that help? We're getting in the tactical nitty-gritty now. So final part to our work today, and then we'll bring it all to a beautiful close in the next 20-25 minutes, is the wheel of perspective. Extremely tactical things that we know from science and from high-performance studies that bring us more energy, connection, drive to really feeling, looking, and being our best. So if you don't have the wheel of perspective, you don't actually need it. I'm going to walk you through it. I've got it right here. You can get it at bit.ly/wheel, the number 4, the letter U. I'll put that in the comments for you, just if you want to get it. It's a PDF. bit. So it's http://bit.ly wheel for you. And what that is, it's simply something I created a while back. I think it was in 2012. I created this that shows you where you're out of perspective in your life. Like where you need to work. If your wheel's lumpy or looks like an asteroid, then we got some work to do. If it's a small wheel, then we got work to do there. If it's a big wheel and it's pretty solid, then cool, you're doing really well. So I'm going to actually fill this out for the year 2018. If you want to get that and print that, you can. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm going to walk you through it here as well. Let me get the green marker and we'll rock that out. So these are the needle movers that are known for helping, if I can find the green marker, Here it is. For helping us feel our best on an enduring, consistent basis. The first one is sleep. So when we look back over 2018, how well did you sleep? I'm giving myself a 9 overall. And what threw you off? And I love walking through this because that's, if you ever read the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. You'll see a keystone, he talks about keystone habits, right? So let's break down a habit first. A habit is a routine, a cue or trigger followed by a routine, followed by a reward. Let me say that again, a cue or trigger, followed by a routine, followed by a reward. So for me, back when I was a night owl, the cue or trigger would show up earlier in the night, 9, 10, 11. Hey, I'm getting tired. But I powered through it. And I stayed up to 1, 2, 3, 4. 2012, I shifted to be the morning guy, just as a kind of joke. And I started to go to bed just for fun, 1 week. I tested it for 1 week, going to bed at 9:30 to 10, but really giving it my all. Not having caffeine after 3, being careful about sugars after 5, making sure that I was dialing all that in. And this started on a Sunday night. By Thursday, I felt so good. I said, I'm gonna do it for another week. Guess what? I never quit. I'm the morning guy now. I was up today before my alarm at 5:48, ready to get in here and take care of you, right? So sleep is what he calls a keystone habit. So often, you may know this already, but when you get sleep dialed in, you have stronger willpower, better decision making throughout the day, longer levels before you have decision fatigue, as they call it. You're able to really go after and be like connected, wholehearted, maybe less grumpy. That's my story. Those kind of things. So in light of sleep, knowing the power of it, what do you need to do more of or less of or start or stop to really own dialing sleep if that's something that you're low rated? And we'll just say that's below an 8. So I gave myself a 9 because I guard my sleep like crazy. Big time about sleep. Anything you want to share there? Anything for you there in line of sleep? What's your rating? I'd love to know. You feel like sharing it? So if you're up for that, if you got an 8 or below, and you're like, you know what, to dial sleep up 1, here's what I'm committed to. Maybe for the next week, maybe tonight, whatever that is for you. We'd love for you to share it in the comments. Love to see it. Next up, hydration. So how well are you hydrating and bringing the joy? And I gotta tell you, overall in 2018, I give myself an 8. I don't know what it is. Some days I just forget to fill up my bottles. And I have them all on like a pretty good system. But it was only, as I look back over the year, I was thinking about this earlier today, it was probably like a handful of days in 2018 where I was just like, man, I'm feeling the dull headache that I used to get when I wasn't hydrating right back in the old days for me. The big boy days when I was 270-ish. Today I'm about 195. Yeah. The hydration, everything. So hydration, what you rate yourself at? When I went over this exercise a few years ago, I said, you know what I need to start is I just need to have, and I talked about this earlier, 2 bottles of water. Well, 2 these beautiful insulated bottles that we get at High Performance Academy. I need to have these with me at all times. And I do. And I need to make sure they're filled, and I'm on the hunt for that. So today, very common with my girls, when they're with me, typically Sundays through Wednesdays, I have 2 bottles for them. And I try to keep them hydrated. They know they're right by the fridge so that they're hydrating. And I could tell you, especially with my oldest, she's noticed she feels a lot better, less congested. She's got a lot of allergies. And she feels less headache when she's with us because she's constantly hydrating. So my job as a dad is to help her in the other house that she lives in with her mom and her stepdad to make sure that she's hydrating there too, right? So what is that rating for you? I gave myself an 8. And what is it that you're gonna do to really bump that up? Good quality, water, drinking. A couple people that have said they actually got their water tested and they found out there was high levels of ammonia, chlorine, a couple things in their water. So they got whole house reverse osmosis machines put in to make sure that they're gonna hydrate, but they're gonna make sure they're taken care of there. They're not harming their body for the long haul because of that constant hydration with those higher chemicals that can damage, right? So we want to be careful about that. Third, eating nutrient-rich 80% of the time. And I'm going to give myself an 8 there. So you can see, I think you can see, how my Wheel of Perspective's coming out. And in terms of that, I always say, you know what? There's some great food that maybe isn't nutrient rich. Let's see, yesterday we had, I barely eat meat anymore, but yesterday we had French dips, which are one of my favorite go-tos from way back in the day. And they were so well done at a place in Naples called Bricktops. And so my dad, my stepmom, my lovely lady, and me are out. And I was like, yep, we're going to go after that today and own this experience. And we did. But I'm also now, today, we're on that full, I'm going after nutrient-rich eating and making sure I'm dialed in, keep the energy high. I don't know if you've ever felt that lean, clean energy from eating nutrient-rich. That's a huge part to this. Really, really powerful. And I know I felt it by accident a couple times when I was my big boy self, as I like to call it. And that's a huge shift. So I just want to make sure you're dialing that in. So as you look back over 2018, how'd you do? Eating nutrient-rich 80% of the time. So if you really want context for that, like the idea of I ate veggies, lean proteins maybe, fruits, nuts, legumes, more often than not. We'll just call it that. How'd you do there? A lot of times I'll talk about staying away from the beige foods. Donuts, croissants, cookies. Going after the colorful foods. Peppers, cucumbers, those kind of things. Not Skittles. Going after these things, right? So what was that for you? Would love for you to share if you're up for it. Share your rating there. Next up is exercise. Getting sweaty 2, 3, 4 times a week. You consistent about that? Boy, I got work to do. I'm going to have to give myself a 6 there. I don't know what the deal is. I do some of those power things, but I know I've got to get more disciplined in that. And that's something that I've got right on radar for 2019. Scheduling that in, living into my schedule. I'm a student of this too, so I'm rocking that out, going after it. And with Angie's challenge, that's a really powerful way to go after that too. She's doing things you can do anywhere in her challenge. And like, you don't have to have equipment to do it. You got a band or even not a band. Some planking, some walking planks, all these other kind of things. Really, really powerful there. So what is it for you though? When you look back over 2018, did you get enough of moving your body? Running. I do a lot of running because I love the feeling it gives me, that oxygenation. And it really helps me feel so much better. So I do 2 miles to 3 miles, typically 2 to 3 times a week. Now this year I really want to do it 3 to 4 times a week and bump up to more like 3 miles, like a 5K, to really go after that. I think that's my next step. And then I do some weight work after that for usually 20, 30 minutes. And then throughout the day I'll be hitting different things like these little power sets, so those kind of things. But what is it for you? When you think of the more, less, start, stop, what shows up there for you? What do you need to do more of on a consistent basis for the new year? Anything there? What are you committed to? You feel like sharing it? Would love to see it. Let's see what you got. Got some comments? Okay, got some comments coming in. Excellent. All right, next up, taking breaks. How well, in light of what we shared today, I'm going to give myself an 8 there. Have you been taking breaks consistently over the long term throughout your day? What I mean by that, from the work that we do in high performance, every 50 to 90 minutes, taking a 5 to 10 minute break. Stand up, stretch it out, just take some deep breaths, whatever that is. Go for a walk. Just get into maybe a song or two. Maybe play the guitar for a little bit. Maybe play the piano, whatever it is. Just to get out of your being and really give yourself that time to reset, recharge, rejuvenate. Anything there for you? Anything you're committed to? What do you need to do more of in 2019 along the line of taking breaks? What do you need to start? Again, coming to mind is scheduling that, right? Really powerful. Love it. All right, next up, happiness. Now, there's a bazillion ways to consider happiness. We covered a lot of them today, but I'm going to say over here, that's an 8 as well. The 2 things that I always talk about in the Wheel of Perspective is happiness is generated by being around people that generally uplift me. And then 2, by learning something new, creating from what you've learned, and sharing it with the world. We call that the trifecta of happiness. And if you want to learn more about that, I got specific training on that that can really help you. Picture a triangle. At the top you have learn, over here you have create, and over here you have share. And then this goes in a cycle. Best thought leaders, Brendon Burchard, Frank Kern, Jeff Walker. These guys are in that cycle all day long. Learning something new, creating from what I learned, sharing it with the world. Learning something new, creating for learning, sharing it with the world. In context for what you can do, learn something new, read a book, take a couple lessons, create a post in Facebook. Press post, share it with the world. Hey guys, I learned something new today. Quite a bit different than some of the posts that people see on social media, right? This political system stinks, blah, 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 blah. Nope, we're putting out good stuff in the world. You follow? So there's a lot of ways to create happiness, but these are two big ones in line of what we teach in the Wheel of Perspective and the 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge. Which, by the way, as a gift for you guys being in today's event, I'm going to sign you up for that. It's totally free. It's a challenge that I've made that walks you through each of these steps, and I illustrate a story, the difference, a challenge, and I give you some tools, techniques, downloads, all these kind of things every day that will help you. It's the least I can do, and I'll sign you up today so you can really start the new year off right. If you haven't been in the 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge, it's all self-study. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but it really walks you through each of these elements and gives you the tools, the support. And if you comment and you need some help, I'm there for you. I'm watching those comments every day. Take care of you. It's one small gift I can give you as you go into 2019 to really own the new year. Stepping into these just tactical shifts to really help you out. Cool? I'm so incredibly thankful to be able to do that for you. And I'm so thankful for you being here with me too, to really be able to facilitate growing, putting goodwill in the world, helping others, but having the energy to do it and the joy and being around the people we love too. So with that being said, let's pop right back over here. Next, we've covered this many times today, is finances. Number 7. And as I said here, I'm going to put that at a 10 because we're owning it. The finances piece is this. Have I been committed to auto savings and living within my means? And by that, I mean saving some money, being able to do the stuff I love, and taking care of my bills. That's the simplest form of that. If you're having any troubles in any of those areas, please, if you're not comfortable putting that as a public post, you don't have to. But if you want direction or help there, I'd be happy to give you some additional training on that or even work with you a little bit. We do that typically in our Zoom roundtables to really help you gain mastery there. So that might mean you got to generate more transactions as we teach. That might mean you got to really think about what you're doing as a business. For some, they're like, that's kind of a hobby, but I really want to make it profitable. And for others, it's like, I just need somebody to sit down and assess where I'm at with the line of expenses that I have and those kind of things. Is this normal? I don't even know. For some, they get that red, green, yellow marker and they're out just highlighting their credit card bills or their expenses and being like, whoa, going into the new year, we got to reduce this, change this, renegotiate that, go after these things. Does that help? So of course, anything showing up for you in these 4 quadrants as you think about that. Kind of sending that home one more time. We talked about it over here, just a touch down here, up here, and down here. Got you covered. That's the number one thing I've seen in the courage session, the psychology session. People get scarce when it comes to survival and finances instead of abundant. And a lot of times there's a real good reason for that, but we're just trying to keep that in check and dial it in for you too. Next up is presents. So over the year of 2018, and this is what I was talking about right out of the gate with my comment in the chat log, more presence, less distraction, being there, being present with myself, reflecting. And that's one of the things I love about the High Performance Planner, is that it really helps, at least in light of all the stuff that you got to do in a day, to just assess for a little while and be present with your thoughts and reflection and what you're going to go after, and then reflect on the day. Just these little shifts, as we like to say in high performance, subtle shifts over the long term equal exponential results. That can go both ways, right? Subtle shifts, maybe having more sugar, drinking more sodas, 1 more soda a day, boom, that can do this to health, do this to weight, or make weight go up, I guess. But on the other side of it, these ideas of reflecting can really bring more connection, more joy into our life. So what is it for you? How present have you felt in 2018 overall? What is it for 2019 to generate more presence? What do you got to do here? What kind of things do you have to do less of? What are distractions? So in light of this, a couple of people that I've worked this through over the last year have said, I need more disconnected time, less digital devices. in my world. So they literally set up, as they come in their house, a little like wooden basket, one of them did, where they put all their digital devices and they leave them there, turn off all ringers, buzzers, all that stuff. They leave them there and then they go and have family time for a few hours. One of them is actually playing Uno. Really, really cool, right? What do I got to start? What do I got to stop? How, and this is the kicker for you, how am I going to make it consistent for the long term? What is that? What is it that's going to make it a behavior, consistent behavior, a habit for the long term for you? Anything there? If you got some golden words of wisdom, stuff you've tested, measured, tried, improved, and removed, please share in the comments. It can help so many people that way. Next, purpose. Coming right back to around where we started today. How purposeful have you felt that you've been living towards your purpose in 2018? I'm going to give myself a 10 on that. How purposeful have you felt living without regret? Living into, really going after the thing you know and maybe you don't know what it is for you, but I'm really clear about what it is for me, that you're on this planet to do. I'll say it again, I said at the very beginning of our journey today. My job on this planet is to help you from where you're at to where you want to be, recognizing you may not dream big enough. Hopefully today has helped you get there, to dream bigger, to brainstorm, to go after more, what you want to start, to really just get articulation, description around those things, and then to have somebody there to champion you on, guide you, coach you, support you, love on you, cheer you, in light of the fact that you may be around people that aren't that. I take that really seriously. So many people reflected on me and said, Charly, you're like the only person that I talk to that is of that. And I'm around a lot of people. And I'm so grateful to be that guy. And if you're a coach, I think you know too, guy, girl, whatever that is, that you're probably that light, that ambition, light at the end of the tunnel that they can see. There are people like this on this planet. I've had that many times in the coaching that I've done, to live purposefully that way. Now for me, that's it. To help others improve their lives, to help others grow their business, that's the arc. If you ever read my purpose statement, the reason why I do it is so that they can live their life passionately and intentionally, full of clarity and purpose, while continually working towards their life's ambitions. So my job, in light of what we've been doing today, hopefully this has helped you, is to come up with your life's ambitions. Like at least for 2019. My life's ambitions for 2019, a couple of mine, and I'll share them with you. One is to be an even better dad. Create more experiences, to be more connected, to work on projects together. We got a couple good ones coming up. A documentary, I think I've talked about that with some of you. My girls are in video production and we're really developing the storyline. We did a lot of work about that around Thanksgiving to really make that happen in 2019. That documentary will help the world in major ways and we cannot wait. But I got to command that ship. I got to bring more presence, more purpose, help them articulate that. I don't want to shove that on them. I want them to be the fuel. You follow? People support what they create. Everything's a co-creation. One of our other principles in high performance. It's all about living purposefully. Cool? That's because I just want to make sure I fueled that a little bit for you. Gave you a little insight as to what we're up to. And then finally, the last D here is daily plan. And the reason I put that at the end of this is real simple. And I'm going to give myself 8 there. And this is what my wheel looks like. And I'm real clear about what I got to work on in line of this. Over here is a little lean. So it's a little bit of a star with this side's like it's a moon and this part's in the dark. So I'm real clear about that. I'll be folding that into my yearly work. I do it the first Saturday of every month. I sit down and go over my PQOs, my life's ambitions for the new year. PQOs comes from the book High Performance Habits, prolific quality output. What is it that I just need to put into the world and express for myself, for others to grow, right? The daily plan is a huge part of that. Because I know you know, and if you've watched the training that I gave you as part of this simple visualization for creating your perfect day, 30-day Jumpstart, if you haven't, be sure to watch it. It's every day, one little thing. Every week, one bigger thing. Every month, one major move. And that's really where I want to transition this for us. So before we do that, let's take a breath. You did a lot of work today. And I want to thank you so much. We still got people on the call, people watching, people enjoying. We're really owning this. To be here, to commit to this on New Year's Day for you is everything. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. I don't say spend time together, I say invest time together as we do this. Because I tell you, and then a lot of you know this as your thought leaders as well, when you're teaching, you're committing, you're learning, bringing to the top of your mind and be like, oh yeah, I got to work on that. And I'm real clear, I shared with you what I got to work on. So the last part of our work together today is what I call picking your big three. And I want to map that like we taught in that course that you have access to into January, February, March. Big goals in line of everything you've written here. So that's the last big move for our 3 big moves is goals. To recap, we've been grateful, reflection, that was this huge exercise, and now goals. So what we're trying to do here, as you see this little arrow, is take the more or less start and stop and distill them into 3 big goals. And what is that for you? And this may be way overwhelming for you, and you may need to do this work after we close down the call. Here's the idea, is just kind of go through. Sometimes what I do is I get different color highlighters. Green are the goals that are like, you know what, these are quick ones. These are ones that I could do like in a day. Like I can put a practice in play, like bringing water bottles into my life. I'm just going to start that right now. And that's going to be today's goal, green, more water in my life. Right? And make sure every day that I have that in play. But my challenge for you, as I talked about in that 30-day Jumpstart, is that we own the bigger goals and we give ourselves like a month scheduled event for that bigger goal. So let me paint an illustration for you. If one of your big goals is to dial up sleep, and we know that has a profound effect in many of the other areas of what we covered, that might be your January 2019 goal. More sleep. And we break that down. What do we need to do? And that's why it's going to be real important. As soon as we're done today, I'll give you all access to that 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge that you go into the sleep, get the tools that we cover. You might even read the book by Arianna Huffington, Thrive, I think is what it's called. I think that, or Sleep Revolution, something like that. If you look her up in sleep, that really helped me understand and illustrate what sleep is scientifically for us as cellular structures that need sleep to reset, recharge, rejuvenate, but also how to shut that mind down to really bring peace so that we get a good quality sleep. Cool? So that might be one big goal for the month of January, sleep. And if you need help and you're like, here's what's showing up for me to start that, please email me, let me know, because we'll be going into our January monthly roundtable. I'll be able to help you there. We're going to start a secondary monthly roundtable. That's at the end of the month. You'll see it if you're in our community. You'll see it on our calendar. And we'll make sure we dial it in for you there. If you're not in our community, please, by all means, let me know if you'd like to learn more about it. I'll be happy to send you the application, to share with you what it is. Anybody who's in the community, we're on our 18th month now. Thank you so much. Owning the health, wealth, and happiness discussion. Owning high performance. We do coaching on that, usually twice a month. And owning business and internet mastery. There's 3 big pillars. Health, wealth, and happiness, high performance coaching, business and internet mastery. And we're really trying to keep it simple. So if you have specific needs, I direct you into what you need help with. And the best part about this, 2 times a month, we have time allocated where I just stay here in the studio and we answer questions live in live Zoom to make sure you're taken care of. So you have guaranteed time with me at this point. We're going to be shifting that as we go into the next couple of weeks. But at this point, if you apply and are approved to be in the community, you have that capacity for life, as long as you're an active member of our community. Cool? Big way that I can support you and champion is assuring that we're keeping that consistency for the long term. That's the goal there. So in line of the goals, if sleep's a big one for you for 2019, maybe we make that first, right? Maybe another one that came up along these lines is exercise. These are the ones that people report on the most. And maybe that is February. Like right now, we'll just kind of get in and do the research to say, here's some of the goals that I want. And if you're having trouble there, just let me know. Cannot thank Amy, my lovely sister-in-law, back in 2011. She goes, Char, I'm using this Ease Into 5K app. And I'm like, I gotta give that a try. So I did. And on December 26, 2011, I went for my first run in the park by the home office here, the home studio. And I got that documented for you. You'll see it in the 10-day challenge. And again, thanks, Amy. But she was the one that pushed me a little bit to do that with that app. And that app changed my life. Because as many of you know, 6 months later, July 25th, 2012, dipped below 200 pounds for the first time in over 20 years. It wasn't just the running. It was the shift and then me getting into high performance. So I'm a product of the high performance work. Cool? So maybe exercise is month 2 for you. Big goal number 1, sleep. Big goal number 2, exercise. For me, the third one that I'm going to use as an illustration is mine. This is my number 1 goal. And that is more enjoyment and presence. Less emotional flare-ups about what I got to do. So this means a couple things for me. I'm going to be totally open and honest with you. It's all about open vulnerability here. This may be the only place in your life where we can have an open, honest discussion. I don't bring judgment. This is a safe zone. It's what we teach in high performance. It's what I live into. And that's where we get major growth, right? So the idea here is to have more openness, more presence, more enjoyment. So when I sit down, it's not a bunch of tasks to do. It's a journey where I can bring full expression and creation into things. So I recognized as I looked over what I have on the agenda for people I need to help and for the things that I want to do, I got to thin out my schedule. So everything's moving to community for a lot of the people that I serve outside of the community in other ways. It's that and delegation to my team. These are big moves for me. So that can bring full presence into the courses we're going to be filming in the next quarter. Show Up Online Now, we're refilming that. The Web Starter Kit, we're refilming that. Total Internet Marketing Blueprint, a huge tribute to Total Product Blueprint. That's a course that I built in 2012 that generated us multiple millions in dollars in terms of application of it. And the course itself generated income. That's how I train my internet marketers. All these kind of things. But I've got to be real clear for me, my number 1 goal, and I'm going to put it up here, is more presence, joy, and engagement in my work and in my life. And the only way that's going to happen for me is to reduce the amount of things that I'm doing in my schedule outside of the work that I want to do and the fun that I want to have. So I've got all these things bobbing up and going after my attention, and I just want to make sure that I'm owning that, right? Really, really powerful. So if you need help with that, I got some great ideas. We're almost out. We are over time. I want to make sure that you know I'm here for you. Know that I'm here to illustrate, take care of. Got tons of training. We can send it to you. So we're a few minutes over time. In the last 2 minutes here, I want to reiterate this. Thank you so incredibly much for being here. I hope going over the 5 Ps as we reflected on how we did in 2018 and the ratings you gave yourself and how we mapped into the 2019 vision, more, less, start, stop, going into the 5 Rs, the 5 regrets of the dying, true life, work too hard, express my true feelings, golden friendships, happiness, laughter, and silliness. I hope that helped you. Really paint a picture for making 2019 your very best year. I hope as we scooted more to tactics around the life arenas, gone, this is bigger picture, this is more tactical, then really getting tactical with the wheel of perspective. I hope this has helped you. And if you feel like sharing your goals with me, feel free to let me know, comment. I'm going to cut this course up and put it in Kajabi. You all have access to this for life to make sure you're taken care of. And yes, the big challenge here will be to go back through this work every quarter for you. You follow? April 1, watch the course. July 1, watch the course. October 1, and then reassess in all these areas and do that work. Are you up for that challenge? Cool. So the 3 big moves. First, grateful for an amazing year. All the lessons learned, beautiful relationships fostered, grown, exceptional relationships, I like to say. The reflection. And then the last piece, setting those goals, aiming for 3 big ones. So I hope I gave you the right illustrations, helped you really down your path of getting masterful. You know my job on this beautiful planet is this, is to help you from where you're at to where you want to be and to live into the 5 Ps, to live more purposeful, more passionate, more positive, bring in the joy, always, even here, self-talk, psychology, productive. It's not just about getting work done, right? It's about living into our life's work and to truly live a profitable life too. So I cannot thank you enough for being here with me on this beautiful New Year's Day. This is me living fully expressed, fully purposeful. Look forward to this big time. Hope this served you. Thank you so much. So that, I'll talk to y'all later. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Take some time, think about your goals, share them with me via email. I'll be sending out the recordings and everything for you as soon as they're ready. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. We rocked it. Yes.